My name is Janet Reyes. I am mother of Diego Daniel Armenta and of Juan Ulises Diaz. In continuance regarding variety of injustices and so much more that we have been through, for example, injustices through stores, I insist with the following as well. Whenever there's either a pricing error or a sale price error or a store error, then there should be some sort of process or procedure that allows employees to enter the proper code into a system for the proper either deduction, refund, exchange, etc. But that clearly states and marks either store error or sale price error or discount error or some sort of matter or store error or price error. There's gotta be a system that properly allows for this type of occurrences to be documented and to be, what would be the word, also listed on receipts. Why do they do it as in deduction of products, or why do some people put it through as if the customer is returning items? I mean, I've been affected and it is very concerning. Why the way some people have offered to fix matters, for example, in situations that occurred to me recently through Family Dollar, which haven't been the first time. I mean, my respect for this store, I believe it's a wonderful store, but there's also been circumstances. I am innocent if there's sometimes price errors, or if there's so-called changes in the system, or if there's differences in prices, price errors, sale discount errors, etc. I mean, I appreciate when there are sales, when there's discounts, when there's good pricing, but why do they get so upset whenever there's a situation in similar way as has happened in other stores, like what I was mentioning recently regarding the Sanelli supermarket store, which, by the way, today went a little better. They listened, well, some of those people listened to me today, and I'm hoping concerns get addressed properly without having to escalate beyond worse than things have already been. But regardless of that, we're innocent of, to, for, from, and in absolutely everything. I have medical conditions. I'm very affected. My rights, my body, my health. I don't know what it is anymore. Is it because of my medical conditions? Is it because of how my physique has changed? Is it because of the treason against my rights, against my citizenship? Is it because I am a woman? Why? I don't understand why discrimination happens. But the fact is that they shouldn't get upset whenever there's a store error, or if there's a so-called system error, or if there's a sale price error, or if there's a sale discount error, or especially when they have to do a refund. Why do they get extremely upset? I have been, throughout the years, discriminated from proper refunds different ways. Similar discrimination happened to my mother and to more family members, and possibly to more people. Either if it be a quarter, 25 cents, a little less or a little more. If this is an ongoing situation that happens with a variety of products, doing the math, this could add up not just to hundreds or thousands, but possibly even more if it's done on a massive scale. It's very abusive, it's discriminative, it affects me. And regarding signatures, I've been so cheated regarding signatures. My mother was also very cheated regarding signatures, and there were transactions that we did not ever approve nor authorize, and so many people cheated us, variety of people cheated us, and we have rights. Some procedures are so suspicious, they're so unprofessional, they're so wrong. Why, if something is a store error, if it's a sale price error, or if it's a price error, why does it have to go against the customer and against the product? Or why do they choose to list it as if one is returning the product, and then why paperwork, why have signatures of the customer and so forth? There's gotta be something very illegal, very wrong, very abusive going on with this type of transactions. I have the right to refuse to sign, especially if things are completely mishandled. I have rights. This reminds me of how affected I've been with the treason against my citizenship, against my birth records, with how they got their way being racist, aggressors, conspirators, and with so much persecution affecting both my sons in similar form and more of our people. All along, it was the responsibility of whomever was in charge, either of vital statistics, state corresponding offices, federal and governmental corresponding offices, either offices or entities or people, and they chose to spend years, decades persecuting us and affecting us and creating situations using us against ourselves, among and amongst, including with family, with mom, with more people. They chose instead to retaliate against us decades and affect us hundreds of crimes that happened, thousands of injustices. How abusive, how much hatred. I mean, when something is the fault of someone else, or when it's an error or a situation, why fight it instead of just saying, ma'am, I'm sorry. Okay, ma'am, if there's a proper refund due, if there's a compensation, if there's a settlement, if there needs to be indemnization, why put us through so much? This matter that has been happening ongoing with matters of different stores, or with prices, or when they get very upset, when they don't apologize, when they make me feel guilty, less than human, when they make me feel so bad, so wrong, when all along I'm innocent. It's their responsibility to do their job correctly, and if there's errors or something else, well, we have rights as customers, as people, as citizens, as victims, as owners. I mean, there's thousands of categories and rights. But people, if you have a store, a business, a grocery store, any other transaction, if it's a store error, if it's a price error, if it's a sale discount error, if it's a sale error, if it's a discount error, then there must be some sort of procedure where it could be coded as such. Because why? It is very rare of the people that actually code it like that. It's hardly anyone does. Why do they refuse to acknowledge what really happens in businesses and stores? Why do they refuse to acknowledge that there's pricing errors, that there's sale price errors, that there's a lot of wrong things that also happen in these places? I am very affected, directly and indirectly. Both my sons are also affected directly and indirectly. And it's obvious that more people as well. If to other people, either this ain't a big deal to them, or if they don't care, or if they just let it go, well, I myself, I'm very affected. For way too long, for decades, I was forced to let it go, or to the will of conspirators, of aggressors, of cheaters, of abusers, of racists, of conspirators that have affected my rights thousands of ways, and that have affected my sons, and that have affected more family. And enough is enough. We have rights. Rights are important. Either if it's 5 cents, a penny, 2 cents, a quarter, a nickel, a dime, several dollars, or more dollars, or sometimes if there's gotta be special transactions made, why not start with an apology? Or why not offer something away instead? Why create escalations? And I'm affected because I have medical conditions. Understand, please, that after hundreds of crimes, after thousands of injustices that I've been put through, after so much cruel and unusual tort and punishment and situations that were created against me, against my mother, against more family, against more of our people, forcing us and using us against ourselves and amongst, when all along corresponding entities, it was their fault, it was their errors, it was their responsibility to indemnify us, to assist us, to help us, yet instead they chose to do against us? Are there or are there not procedures that would code these errors and these situations correctly? And if there are, well, it's very discriminative and abusive that they cover up and they refuse to acknowledge and refunds. For example, Family Dollar people, please don't get upset. I appreciate your prices, your stores, and so forth, but this has also happened in your stores. And why do they allow it to happen? Please, if there's no system, if there's no technique, well, these places are so wealthy, so much education, so forth. The people, with my respect, the masterminds that run this sort of places, and I say that with respect and appreciation, why don't they allow, or why don't they create a specific system that is for proper coding when these things happen? Store error, price error, sale price error, discount error, or like item error, or when it's a defect or for some reason an item has to be returned. There's got to be special codes. Coding is very important, and unfortunately there have been thousands of categories in which some people abuse of code. We have been affected through code matters thousands of ways. Either way, my sons and me and more people in my family were at every shape, in every circumstance, innocent of to, for, from, and everything. I don't know why the discrimination. Is it because I've gained weight, being so ill and affected because of medical conditions and pain? Is it because my skin color changes? Is it because sometimes my hair, I have it curly, sometimes straight? Is it because of my eye color? Is it because I'm a woman? Is it because I have medical conditions? Is it because the ongoing injustices and treason against my birth records and against what my sons? Is it against because of the various names conspirators against me? Is it of ongoing persecution having to do with the corresponding entities that have used and abused of circumstances to be using me, to be affecting me, to be using and affecting my sons or more family directly or indirectly? Are there or are there not other entities that have been maliciously, purposely, and possibly illicitly enriching based on what they've put me, my family, and more people through, while at the same time denying us proper compensation and attention without discrimination? I am very affected. Much of the medical conditions and the trauma that I have are a consequence of so many crimes, of retaliation, of the thousands of variety of injustices that I've been put through multiple categories throughout various decades. And most everything somehow routes back, including through flashbacks, to injustices that have been against me, to injustices that were against my mother and against my family, and how people that were guilty and at fault of it spent decades against me, against my mom, forcing us and using us against ourselves, similar ways, more family, amongst, and so forth. And they also used them and forced them against themselves, against other more people. It's been a mess. When all along, all I had to do was apologize and compensate us and prohibit retaliation and everything, all the wrong, harm, and injustices that have been against us for so long. Why do people, for example, through Family Dollar stores, get extremely furious when it comes to a sale price error or to a discount